Welcome to Hoodies, the podcast. We go deep with the blast.
Microcosm. Back on that. Microcosm. And listen, relationships play a huge part in that family dynamic. For example, I've never ever in my life seen a functional relationship. Never. Well, let me be more specific. I've never seen a functional romantic relationship. I've seen friends stay on point through a substantial amount of years. Like, my mom's is still good friends with her childhood friend, Sister Elder Regina. You know what I'm saying? And let my moms tell it. They've been thick as thieves since they was in the crib together. In fact, my mom's and Sister Elder Regina, they've been cool since the day my pop tried to bag one of them. You know what I'm saying? Well, he tried to bag one, but ended up getting the other being my mom's. You know what I'm saying? I think my old man, he was on the other side of the street walking another girl home. You know what I'm saying? He saw both Regina and my mom's walking, and he hightailed it home. Well, hightailed it to take the other young lady home, and then he hustled back, you know what I'm saying, to meet the two beautiful black sisters that I just spoke about, my mom's and Sister Elder Regina. So that's a long-lasting relationship in terms of friends. Then my Uncle Marty, he got a homie he's been cool with since like grade school, Brother Ibn. They've been cool since forever, and they still cool to this day, right? So it's the romantic relationships that I've never seen. My paternal grandfather, he and his wife stayed married for some years. He was a bit of a philanderer. I'm not putting him out there like that because it's something that he wasn't shy about it. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew that my grandfather was a bit of a philanderer. He would tell you in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he wasn't shy about it. But either way, he and my paternal, well, I was about to say my paternal step grandmother, but there's no such thing. But the late Elder Gertrude was not my pop's biological mother. From what I understand, it was a stepmother. So, but Elder Gertrude, the late Elder Gertrude, and my grandpa Ivory stayed married up until Gertrude transitioned. So that's about the closest thing to a functional romantic relationship that I've really seen in all my life. Okay? So as a result of that microcosm, that sample of society, right? To this day, as a result of that, I struggle with what to do. You know what I'm saying? How to handle, just the functionality of a functional romantic relationship. More on that in the Love Doc. And speaking of the Love Doc, right? Hear me out about that. I know I keep saying that and that it's on its way. I promise you it is. In fact, today, this is Wednesday. This coming Monday, recording, like production, will take place. The individual that I had interviewing me is, as of this very moment, fired. Okay? With all due respect, I work better when I do things on my own time and when I do things my way. There's a lot of things, including this podcast, that could pop off, but they don't pop off the way I want to because I'm depending on someone else. So it's nothing but love, but I'm going to do it my way. I promise you, as I said before, I promise you it will be dope. I promise you it will be the flyest shit you ever seen. I'm going to do it my way. I'm recording this coming Monday. So yeah, that's it for now on the Love Doc. In fact, I won't be doing no more pods after this one until that's the second installment on the Love Doc is done. It's been way too long and I'm tired of waiting. Anyway, Now back to the microcosm. Okay, as far as like male role models, now my maternal grandpop was a calm dude. He was a minister in the Nation of Islam, a higher up, from what I understand, disciplined. He wrote the foreword in Elijah Muhammad's message to the black man, or should I say, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's message to the black man. Screwed that all up. I chopped that all up. But yeah, if you read the foreword, that's my grandfather, James Abdul Aziz Shabazz, minister out of Chicago. Okay, I remember when I was a kid, and I probably said this before. When I was a kid, he would show me and whoever else would listen. At the time, it would be my Uncle Marty, my sister, my brother Aaron, and he would show us slides. This is when slides would be like, you had these little slides, little plastic joints with the little negative, if you will, on the inside, and you put it in the slide and it would, illuminate it on the wall. So he would show us, it would be him in the garb, what would look like a sheet, a lot of sand in the background over in Saudi Arabia, on this pilgrimage. Man, what I wouldn't give to see those slides now. What I wouldn't give to see him. But good man. And demons, I'm sure he had them, but I was too young to really care. You know what I'm saying? But I wish I could see those slides now, man. But he was, from what I can remember, a laid back man. He was the one who told me what a particular body part was. Let me explain, right? I think one time we was going to some family reunion. I think it was in Muskegon. It was me, my Uncle Marty, and of course my grandpop. He drove this, I want to say, not powder blue, sky blue Eldorado, if I can remember. And we was driving. We was driving to Waukegan, which isn't very far from Chicago. It was driving. And we stopped off at a rest station. My grandpa had this electric shaver with him. So he's in the mirror. Because he's in the Nation of Islam, so he stayed, clean shaven. He had a mustache, but he stayed clean shaven. No beard, no goatee, no nothing like that. So while he's in the mirror, doing his thing, grooming himself, I'm at the urinal. And I'm taking a leak. So I'm standing there, and when you a kid, right? Can't remember how old I was. I want to say I'm either single digits or at least 10. I admit I can't really remember how old. Anyway, so I'm at the urinal and I'm taking a leak. So as kids, when you're kid, what do you call your penis? You call it a dick. You call it a Johnson. All these names, Bob. It's crazy because I remember when we was little, we would say, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make a slob on Big Bob. Talking big and shit like that. I wonder how to say stupid shit like that. But we was boys. But anyway. So of course I'm being silly. I'm at the urinal, so I'm taking a piss. So I'm like, yo, granddad, what is this called? Is this called a dick? Is this called a Johnson? I'm just joking around, being goofy, whatever. And with the serious of looks. So imagine this is the mirror. Right here. And he looks over at me, and I'm saying, what is this? What is granddad? What is this? This a dick? This a Johnson? This a Big Bob or whatever? And he looked at me with the serious of faces. It's a penis. I mean, no joking around, no playing. It zapped all the play out of me. It's almost like he said it in such a way that, like I said, it brought out the seriousness in me. It zapped out all of the play. I wasn't afraid or intimidated, but I knew right then and there playtime was done. Playtime was fucking done. And he said it in such a way that looking back at it now, it was almost as if he was saying that's something your father should have taught you or should be teaching you. But my pop wasn't around at the time. You understand? Like, I knew who he was. I knew the sound of his voice, but I didn't really know him like that. So yeah, it was my granddad who told me, that my dick was in fact a penis. First time I ever heard that. But anyway, like I said, my maternal grandfather was a calm cat, calm dude. I remember in the same Eldorados. We was driving to Muskegon for some sort of family reunion or something like that. And we was driving. He's driving. And one day, same trip. Damn, I'm all over the place. Same trip. We're driving, going along, and he needed to spit. He needed to spit, and he goes, and I guess he thought he had the window down or whatever. He said, and he spit on the window. This big, big lug of gooey shit on the window. And while most people would have been like, shit, damn it, fuck, I done spit on the, pull over and get some paper towel. No, he was just calm, cool, and collected. Never really seen him raise his voice or anything like that. I remember another time, me, him, and my Uncle Marty again. We convinced my grandfather. I don't know how the hell we convinced him of it, but we convinced him to take us to see a Richard Pryor movie. My Uncle Marty and my grandfather go in to the movie. So we go in and we're sitting down, and this was, I forget which stand-up Richard Pryor was doing, right? But he's going on and on and on. Oh, tell me, let me get this monkey's dick out of my ear. It's all this profanity and cursing. I was a kid. It's the first time I had really heard it, right? It's the first time I had really heard something like that. And my grandfather, being in the Nation of Islam, that's a no-no to go see something like this. So I recall him, like, really, he was really embarrassed. He was in his seat, like, almost like he was trying to hide his face from anybody who would see him. Then eventually we walked out, we left, and that was the end of that. A little long-winded, right? But yeah, that was my grandfather, my maternal grandfather. So the dynamic with him and my maternal grandmother was something that I either didn't see or just didn't remember. Okay? Then he spent a substantial amount of time in the hospital before he died, before he transitioned. I believe he ended up his cause of, he was living with dementia and maybe some other things. That was the first time that I had seen someone so calm, so strong, succumb to something that made him ultimately weak. You know what I'm saying? To this day, he's still the most intelligent man I've ever seen. He knew the Bible and the Quran like the back of his hand. The smartest, most intelligent man I've ever seen, ever met. And he passed away back in 86. So, gauge that. So, my microcosm of society was rather diverse. Okay? In my microcosm, coming up, as far as the men in my life, my maternal grandfather was a strong figure. And so was my paternal grandfather. He was a strong figure as well. Alpha male, held it down. He worked and took care of everything while my grandmother Gertrude did most of the cooking and the cleaning and stuff like that. So strong male, alpha male presence. My uncle Big Aaron, he was a musician, played the bass guitar. He was a part of this band called the Midnight Magic Band. Now, he met a lot of women. You know what I'm saying? I was old enough to notice. He had some women. I remember it was a few of them, but I can only remember one name. Well, of course, I can remember more than one name, but I'm gonna start with there was this yo Unc. Hey, if you happen to be watching this, I ain't putting you on blast. I'm just saying, as a kid, and my old man not being around, it was you I was looking at. You understand? That's just how it is. But yeah, Terry. It's one sister named Terry. I believe Terry, we was on 68th and Langley. Terry might have lived on 67th. I'm not sure. Anyway, I used to, when my uncle had a room down in the basement, my grandmother's crib on Langley, I used to be outside that door. I used to creep downstairs when nobody was there because I knew if my grandmother was there, she would say, boy, get your butt back up here. Stop listening to your uncle down there. But she either was outside watering the lawn or something like that, or in the back in the garden. My grandmother was one of the my maternal grandmother was one of the very few people that I knew who had a garden in the city, on the south side of Chicago. So she must have been doing that or something. Not to mention she was involved with the block club committee, right? So anyway, I would creep downstairs and listen to my uncle, him, and I remember Terry. There were other women. I would listen and hear them talking, hear them doing all kinds of stuff. That was once again, an example of how a man is supposed to carry himself. So I got the calmness, coolness, and intelligence I seen from my maternal grandfather. Then I seen the artistic, free side, from my Uncle Big Aaron. He's Big Aaron because my little brother is Little Aaron, right? So I remember the women, Terry, and I remember, some of the women he would be down in the basement with after, when it would die down, I guess they would fall asleep or whatever. When they would come upstairs, you could see her talking to me and the rest of the other little kids like, hey, hi, like he wasn't just downstairs giving my uncle some toppy. Come on, man, knock it off. He also had some girly magazines under his mattress. I used to go down there and look at the magazines. Oh, man, word. It's ill being a young boy, a little boy, and seeing those kinds of things. You notice it. You know what I'm saying? But one thing, I remember when he met this beautiful red bone thing named Pam. At the time, her name was Pamela Stearns, right? Pamela Stearns. And so I want to take that back. About my paternal grandfather and my grandmother Gertrude, that being the only example of a functional relationship. I'm going to take that back. My Uncle Big Aaron and my Aunt Pam, they met when they was 19 and are still married to this day. So I'm going to have to take that back. It's my Uncle Big Aaron and Aunt Pam. Okay? My Aunt Pam. So yeah, I see that now that there was a lasting relationship, but I gotta admit, prior to that, what I used to think, now my grandfather has transitioned, so there's Big Aaron now, right? And for those of you who don't know, when I say transition, I mean passed away. He died. So my grandpa transitioned to another dimension. He's no longer in the physical realm. He's in spiritual essence, if you will. So now there's Big Aaron. That's the male figure now, right? The male figure. So I started to think that that's what men did. You grew up, you became a man, and you slept with women. That's what you did. Multiple women. That's what you did. Right? So, but of course that's the Big Aaron of old. Okay, that's how he was prior to meeting Aunt Pam. Okay, who's now, I ain't gonna say her last name, but anyway, Aunt Pam. Now my old man, okay, when I would visit him from time to time as I got older, He would show me, because he was a DJ. He was a DJ who had a name for himself. He used to DJ at this club in Chicago called the Copper Box. I think there was two of them. There was the Copper Box 1 and then the Copper Box 2. Then he DJ'd at this club in Atlanta called Mr. V's Figure 8, something like that. I probably got the name wrong. Anyway, he would show me photo albums of him with celebrities and mad women. And then again, I would think that that's what you did. You grew up and you had sex with women. Lots of them. And he would point to certain pictures in the photo album, turn the page, turn the photo album. People don't have photo albums much anymore. But anyway, he would have, flip the pages and point to a particular, one be a celebrity, a famous boxer or whatever. And then over there be a picture of him and a beautiful woman. They'd be like, yeah, she a freakazoid right there. She a freakazoid. So that's what I thought you did. You grew up, you became a man, and you had sex with women. A lot of them. You know what I'm saying? He's married now. It's been over 5 to 7 years for them now. Right? So in my microcosm of society, that's what men did. Family is a microcosm of society. It's a small sample of what's in society. Right? And I'm going to fix that whole saying. I'm going to fix that in a minute. Now, my mom's with men. Her relationships with men didn't last very long. Well, there was one brother named James Wilkins. He and my mom's, they dated for about a good 10 years, maybe 11. They was together for a hot little minute. James was a cool cat. He and I got along pretty well. We got along pretty well. He was an auto mechanic. Then one day, after some years of my mom's and him being together, he came into some money, and one day he just disappeared. He's also transitioned. He's transitioned, and I think his death was due to complications from a fight that he tried to break up some years ago. I wasn't there. By this time, I had left and was living with my pop on the East Coast. I think from what I understand, my mom's, James, and I don't know, some other folk with them. James this was at a time, and I'm sure people still do that. This was at a time when in the summertime we would go to South Shore. South Shore? Lake Shore? Forgive me, it's been a while. Lake Shore Drive. Did I say South Shore? Damn. Whew. It's been a while. It's been too long. And age is catching up with a brother. But Lake Shore Drive over there, Lakefront, whatever. People would do that in the summer. Go there, pop trunk, play some music. Some people would get in the water, but you would just post up, smoke, drink, do the damn thing. So I believe he was trying to break up a fight, and somebody hit him in the head with a bat, and that messed him up pretty bad for a minute. But he recovered and lived. He lived for a number of years, but he transitioned. My mom's, she ended up getting married again some years later. And from what I can remember, that was super, super dysfunctional. His name was Norman Giles. And I need to stop putting people's government out there like that. He was a drinker. He was an alcoholic. I'm just call it what it is. He was an alcoholic, dealing with demons from his past. And on top of that, he was short. So he had, a Napoleon complex going on. You know what I'm saying? He was big, bad, and tough when he was on that sauce. You know what I mean? Very smart. You know what I'm saying? He's passed on too. Not sure what his complications were. So there was not a lot of luck on lasting relationships for my mom's. You know what I'm saying? Now, her thing is now she don't want to be bothered with nobody. I can dig that. She don't want to be bothered with nobody. So I said I was going to fix that, right? So I've been thinking about the whole, you know, family is a microcosm of society. So sure. The family is a microcosm, and what is a microcosm? It's a preview, a bite-sized version of society, right? So in saying that, I'm saying that the family dynamic, it shapes us into a particular individual who will give society what we got from home. What we got from home, who we became at home, who we became as kids. If we became someone who came from a loving, like I said in the last pod, in an environment where there was conflict, then there was reconciliation. Then that is the type of individual that will be in society. Those nuggets, that information, is now sprinkling the millions and millions of people in that is definitely not coming out right. Society is full of people who are products of the family dynamic they had. And that's probably as best as I could put that out there. So I'm going to go ahead and stay with family is a microcosm of society, man. Word. And real quick, I want to expound on that little tidbit I said in in the other pod about the pro jabbers being disingenuous. I don't really give a shit if I offended, anyone, because you motherfuckers are offensive. The death narrative is so big. Death, like I've said in several pods before. But not too many people are talking about life. You see what I'm saying? Look at all the people you know that's gotten it and that lived. Okay? And one more thing before I get off of this subject, because there's a shitload of people already talking about it. Y'all already know this. So if you know this, sing along. A vaccine rather, goes through phases. 4 phases, in fact. And I'm no scholar, so I'm going to spit what I remember. The first phase takes from like several months. This phase 2 is at least 2 years. Phase 3 is about 4 years. Then phase 4 being a little over a year. You can tweak the number of years, but regardless of the little nuances in whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, anything like that, it doesn't take a genius to see that this came out fairly fast, fairly quickly, right? So when testing a vaccine before it is approved to be used for whatever it's intended to fight against, it has to go through human trials, right? So since this vaccine came out fairly quickly, it seems a bit obvious meaning it's apparent that this is the trial. So there's this push, which is weird because it's being pushed as though it's a cure, and it is not a cure. This is the trial. This is the experiment. So with that said, you got to know that, okay, when they're testing out a vaccine, you got to know that some folk are going to have adverse reactions to it. Some people may even die. Okay, now I admit that might be a reach. Might. Definitely adverse reactions to this vaccine. It's still being fine-tuned, if you ask me. So it does baffle me why there are huge amounts of folk getting the vaccine without reservations. Well, I take that back. Some people do have reservations. Sometimes it just comes down to how bad do you want that retirement at your job. There's some folk that's like 2 to 3 years away from retirement and they ain't trying to fuck that up, so they figure, fuck it, jab me. Some folk are single parents and they can't afford to just walk away from a job, so jab me. Some people could care the fuck less about their health. They could care less. They ain't gonna keep up with the consistency that comes with watching what you eat or working out. So the jab is convenient. Give me that jab. But please stop walking around here acting like you super healthy because you got the jab. You can't even walk up a flight of stairs without having to stop and shit, just to catch your breath because you can't walk up a flight of stairs. You know what I'm saying? And then some people just want to get back to whatever was normal for them. They want to get back to that. You understand? Concerts, boxing matches. Brother Wilder, let it go. Tyson Fury is just your Achilles heel. I, for one, would still pay for a pay-per-view boxing match with you and whoever else being the main event. But let it go. I still believe in you. End of sidebar. So that's all I got to say about the jab, pro-jabbers. If you're for it, dope. If you're against it, dope. I just wish there was some, representation on both sides. You got black folk who are with it, but if you black and you're against it, you get shunned and ostracized. So on behalf of the shunned and ostracized, here's a big-ass middle finger to all you pro-jabbers who think you're so much better. Fuck you. So real quick, again, in conclusion, family is a microcosm of society. So be a father to your child. Be a mentor to youngins who don't have a pop. Be a man. Use your criminal record to teach the youth about the pitfalls and not to brag to your niggas about how thorough you are. Most of you motherfuckers is fat and out of shape anyway. So knock it off.
I don't even know what a lane is.
Bro, ain't nobody calling.
You know box neither.
Bro, ain't nobody calling motherfucking phone.
Welcome to Hoodies, the podcast. We go deep with the blast.